If you uh, see here in this case, this is enthalpy versus temperature, then here also you will get this kind of curve similar to V versus T here, H versus T. The enthalpy versus temperature will also have similar behavior, both the volume and then enthalpy. So here also you can see there are two slopes here, and wherever they intersect we call it glass transition temperature. It may not be very sharp, and this by how do you get this one is the method called DSC, differential scanning calorimetry. This we have already discussed in the lecture. DSC. And similarly, the CP versus T, which also can be obtained from the DSC. The CP, which we know that it's a derivative of enthalpy with respect to temperature. Okay, derivative of enthalpy with respect to temperature, which you would have studied in thermodynamics class. So this is Cp versus T, and if you take the derivative, this is how it will look like. You have a S kind of curve similar to this alpha versus T, and here also somewhere in the middle of the transition we call it glass transition temperature. Ideally this curve should be a straight line like this, okay, a vertical line, but in real cases this is how it looks like. This is again obtained from DSC. There are two more methods, in fact, this is one we will discuss here. This is G prime. G prime is nothing but the shear storage modulus. We will discuss what is storage modulus and loss modulus, but this is shear modulus. This is shear storage modulus, G prime. This is loss or shear loss modulus. Shear loss modulus. So similarly, we can also have E prime and then E double prime. So what is E prime? This is simply storage modulus, and this is loss modulus. Okay, so this comes from we'll differentiate what storage modulus and loss modulus. So far we know only elastic modulus, which is in a quasi-static case. So when you apply force on a particular material and the resistance to its deformation in elastic limit, we call it the elastic modulus or Young's modulus. But the storage modulus is in case of dynamic loading. So similarly the G prime and then G double prime are also obtained in dynamic shear, case. Okay, we'll come to that, but what I'm trying to show here is when you have this kind of curve, G prime versus temperature or E prime versus temperature, so initially you will have a plateau, and then at some point it suddenly drops, the curve drops, and then that is the point, or somewhere in the middle of the point we can call this as a glass transition temperature. But from this particular curve, E prime or G prime versus temperature, it is difficult to determine the glass transition temperature, since we don't know whether to take here or here or here, because this particular line is not very sharp. It's not a vertical line. It will have some sort of like slanted line. So it is very difficult to measure whether here, or anywhere, maybe middle. Okay, so it makes little ambiguous. So, but when you plot E double prime or G double prime with respect to temperature, then you get a peak. Now the peak equilibrium position, the middle of the peak point, we can directly relate it with the glass transition temperature. So this is more amenable, more clear. The glass transition temperature will be more clear from the loss modulus versus temperature curve than the storage modulus. And also we can find in a better way by using these dynamic methods, that is known as tan delta. I think you would have studied somewhere before, which is nothing but E double prime by E prime or G double prime by G prime. So when you plot G tan delta versus temperature, so that also will give you a similar kind of curve which we saw here. So if you plot tan delta versus temperature, so that will also give you some sort of curve, and then in the peak point we call it glass transition temperature.